Steve!
Hey, what's up?
What did you do at the Geek Group today?
Oh man, I spent all day looking for parts and stuff. I have, oh, excuse my reach. I have this old, I think it's
an RCA.
60s vintage PA amp.
It's beautiful.
It's awesome. It sounds awesome also.
Tubes.
I play my guitar through it and it has that just warm, clean tone.
So what'd you do to it?
Oh man, I had this old, nasty 2-conductor power cord, and it was starting to chafe out right where it entered into the chassis.
Okay.
So I had to replace it anyway. So I thought, while I did that, I might as well go to an IEC style, power cord. Originally, I was thinking about maybe mounting something inside, but I just didn't have the real estate. This one was the wrong gender. I would have had to move it over to here, but you don't want your power over by your over on the audio side. You want to keep all the power on one side and all the audio's on the other side. So I just made a little pigtail, and I found a nice beefy cord to go with it.
That, no.
No?
No.
Not that?
No.
Oh, it's nice.
No,
It's nice and ugly.
Yeah, that's a, no.
You
That you don't need this cord for that. And
okay.
this cord is one of the big IECs that we use for stuff in the server racks
Okay.
and stuff.
All right.
But
Well,
I will give you a nice, happy,
okay.
shiny cord, but you don't need that particular cord for that. That's
I do need my
That's
little
overkill by, that's
But, yeah.
fine. But that's
But
overkill
this
by
is-
like
this-
an order of magnitude.
This was overkill too. I mean, the size of this cord also. I mean, I had the skinny one, but I'm like, I'll just.
No, that's sexy for there.
Yeah. And that way I'm not tripping over stuff when I'm carrying it and that kind of thing.
Why'd you leave it so long?
Just so I could stack it flat against. Like if this flips up, I can have it,
Oh, okay.
pretty much flat against something else. That type of thing. So, but yeah. So
It's so sexy.
that's what I spent.
So sexy.
Oh, it's really nice when the tubes start glowing.
What tubes does it use in here? Like, what's your
66.
Yeah?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
How many watts?
I used to know. It says on here somewhere.
If you know the tubes, you know the watts.
Oh, yeah, see, I'm not. Go ahead, what is it? 66, you know?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Oh, 35 watts.
You're talking to me like I'm a smart person or something.
Right. So yeah, 35 watts, which is huge for a tube.
Yeah, for guitar, that's plenty for what you're doing, for a little practice
Exactly.
amping out. So.
Yeah. And there's 2 channels on this thing. Well, actually 3. We have a phono input here, but XLR inputs, 2 channels, and one of the input coils was missing when I got it, and I think it probably didn't come with it, so I had to really search and get another input coil.
That's those down there?
Yeah, and what happens is when you're using both channels, because I was thinking, all right, I'll just get an AB switch and use a pedal on channel 2 and make it a dirty channel, clean channel. But kind of what happens is when the volume will, if you have them both at the same volume, it'll kind of dampen out the volume of the other channels. It's kind of weird how it acts, but so I think they just shipped them with just one input coil. So,
It's a beautiful machine.
yeah, and what's really nice is this bottom panel has the schematic all right there, nice and beautiful, and so I can just.
That's because it's
trace
built
on.
from back in the days when they expected you to be able to fix things.
I know, right? Part it out. Yeah, exactly. Find parts.
Well, good job, sir.
Yeah. So the LED or the light is white instead of blue, but I guess I'll survive.
So hard being you.
Yeah, beautiful amp. I love it.
Alright, so this is probably about a 50,000 volt capacitor. We got a bunch of them. We won't know until we get it down clean exactly what its ratings are. But this is how they arrived to us. They were stored for a long time, and at some point, as part of getting moved around, they ended up on a loading dock in the Hunters Point Naval, or the Hunters Point Shipyard in California.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
It looks really, really bad. It looks like junk. This, at one point in its life, was a beautiful $20,000 capacity. We're going to bring it back. Okay. And the first step with that is getting rid of the gun. So I'm going to show you how to do this. Go over there and grab your safety glasses. I'm going to give you just a couple tips. It's a lot of grunt work, but it's not too bad. And in doing all the work on the trailers, we learned how to do this very, very well, and I got to teach a lot of the staff how to handle this. This is just a good surface rust. It's not really pitted that bad, but it's a good surface rust, and there's a little light pitting. So the first thing you need is safety glasses. Now, this part is plastic.
Yeah.
Everything inside this ring is plastic. This is called the dog bowl. It's really important not to touch this. Any of these capacitors that don't have a safety grounding wire that goes between the ring and the center contact, don't even touch them, because they're probably totally safe, but they might not be. There's a very outside chance, so let me handle that, because there's a procedure for it. But here's how it's done. Start with the main areas. Now you're going to notice there's a tab welded on here. Don't even try and take that off. For reasons that are going to be really obvious to you in a couple seconds, you need to wear a dust mask when you do this and make sure it's fitted properly. Okay? And for the first stage of this, you might just want to take these outside one at a time and do it. You can take them out in the handicap lot and do it. But I'm going to show you the basic technique, okay?
All right.
You know how to use one of these?
Yeah.
You understand that it always turns that way and it's going to want to kick this way or back.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guard against that. That's ready to prime.
All right.
So it goes fast.
Yeah.
It's tedious, but we started out, I trained you guys on the trailers, where we're grinding off paint and epoxy, and it takes a long time.
Yeah.
This is way easy.
Okay.
Alright? So when you start with this, do all sides except the top. Don't do the top.
All right.
If you want to take it outside and do it out there so you don't have to create a giant plume of iron dust, that's totally cool. You can use that cart to move them.
Right.
And I would just take them right through there, down the handicap ramp, do them outside.
Okay.
That's probably the easiest way. But start that, when you get all the sides done, get me.
All right.
Okay? And then I'll help you with the next step. Because what we're going to do is we're going to clean up all the rust. We're going to prime it. Well, we're going to clean off all the rust. Then we're going to clean off the top. And we're going to clean off this. Now this is done with some special fun chemicals.
What about the bottom of it?
We're going to do the bottom too.
Okay.
And then we're going to clean all this out in here. We're going to chase the threads so that they're all clean, nice new threads. We're going to replace the bolts for them. We're going to replace the terminal. We're going to clean up and basically recover the dog dish as good as we can. And then we're going to give it a really good coat of paint, and when we're done, this will look like a brand new capacitor. All right, but it takes time. We're going to do them in batches. The first step is we're going to do one today so that you can really get down the process, and then tomorrow we'll probably do like 3 to 5.
All right.
And the goal is to just get them to where they're cleaned down. We get a shot of primer on them. Once they're primed, they can wait a while. But you got to get them primed quick, because this right here, if you just let that sit, you'll have surface rust there all over again.
Yeah.
And this time of year with the humidity and all that, that'll surface rust overnight. Because you've got it, once it's totally pristine and clean, you'll get a light dusting of surface rust by morning.
Okay.
So that's all we got to do is hit it with a shot of primer. Totally cool. But you're going to learn all the skills that we did on the trailers apply to this. It's stripping it down, it's cleaning it, it's how to use spray paint effectively so you don't get drips and runs and gums and everything everywhere. But just start with that. Holler at me when you're done.
All right. How do I get power out there?
This magic thing.
Well, I mean, it's not that long.
See, I had a lot of people tell me that it's not that long, but it just needs to be long enough to get the job done. Okay, you'll be alright. Plug it in just inside the door. There's an outlet. So you've cleaned yourself down to bare metal, but you've still got some red down here. You're trying to figure out why. The reason is because that's really heavily pitted. Like this is pretty smooth, little pits, but this is really, really rough. That's called pitting. It's where, as it oxidized, it actually ate into the metal. Okay. So you fold it over like this, fold it over like that. Take some acetone. Now, you wipe this down, and you can see the acetone evaporates immediately. Right? Well, the cool thing about that is, once the acetone's evaporated, you can paint almost immediately. And see all that? Yeah. That's your iron dust. Yeah. And you want to do what you're doing basically is really heavy dusting, because before you paint, it's really important to get rid of any grease, oil, schmoo of any kind. Yeah. And you fold this. Grab your acetone, hit it again, okay. And you just wipe it down really good, and you can see how we just got rid of all that junk that was up in here. Yeah. You want to get rid of as much of that as you can, especially up in the crease. In any spots where you still got stuff, you hit it with a grinder. Okay. And this works everywhere. You do this up here. Okay, now I'm just going to wipe down the side, which was pretty clean, right? It looked good. I'm just going to wipe this one side with this. And that's just one. And then you take this, turn it inside out again. And you just keep doing it. See how it's got the streak marks on it? Yeah. As long as you've got streak marks on there, it's not clean. So you keep doing this until there are no streak marks. And until nothing comes off black. When you do this the last time, the towel should come off clean. You see that? See how it looks totally different there? Yeah. And now it's starting to look like a window, right? You get that after streak. Yeah. Still got schmoo. So we fold it again. The acetone evaporates really, really quickly, also from this, which is why you have to keep moving on. As long as you've got a trail behind you, as long as you leave the tracers, you've still got acetone in. Now, we get a massive amount of paper towels donated, but that doesn't mean we should waste them, which is why we do this. Because you go through a lot in discarding cabs. And I've seen people do this and go through a whole roll of paper towels on one cab, and that's just... Alright, now once it's clean, like that, I'm about to show you magic. Okay? Primer. Yeah. This is filler primer. There's two kinds of primer. There's filler primer and etching primer. For this, filler primer. You shake it until the marble starts to move, and then you shake the hell out of it. Okay? Hold it upside down when you shake it, and it's a twisting shake. Don't do this. I got a lot of practice with this. It doesn't work here. You gotta go side to side. Now, on top of the can, there's a black dot. You turn the nozzle towards the black dot. The black dot inside the can is where the little tube lands. The little tube inside the can lands right here because the black dot's right there. Yeah. Okay? If you're shooting away from the black dot, you won't get all the paint out. Right. Now, watch this. That's clean, it's prepped. Always moving. You start spraying out here and then land on. Okay. Where'd you go? Handicap lock. With spray paint, you want very light coats. You're just dusting it. Okay. You put it on thick. and you're going to have problems. Now we come off this side, like this, and I'm painting off the edge, right?
Yes.
I'm not painting down here. When I painted this edge, I was on the other side. You paint away from you, off the edge. Okay, just a light dusting. Now, you sit in the shade for a minute. It is 15:55 hours. Okay?
Yeah.
You're about to see magic happen. Do you feel the magic happening?
Yeah.
Okay, because there's magic happening at this very moment. Now what the priming does is, primer does two things. One, it seals the surface for as long as you need it sealed, because if we couldn't paint this cap for a year, you just leave it in primer, it's going to be okay. The primer stops the rust.
Right.
It helps fill in the little pits. It stops the rusting process, because if we didn't prime that after the acetone wipe, we've gotten rid of all the little grease and oils that were on the surface, which include the oils from your hands. Okay. After that thing, if you just leave it sit here and come back tomorrow, it'll be rusty.
Yeah.
In one night.
Yeah.
But the primer totally stops that. So that's a clean, safe painted surface. The other thing the primer does is the primer gives you a surface for the real paint, which will be just a, we'll use a Rust-Oleum enamel. Okay. It gives that something to stick to. The enamel paint will stick to the bare metal, but it won't like it. It won't stick very well. So we're at 15:56 hours right now. So the primer is basically all about containment and preparation. Now I have to answer his question real quick. What do you need? You're cool? Okay. So we've got that, and you'll notice that we painted this, but we didn't paint this, because we worked off the edge. There's a little dusting over here because of where the wind was, but you can wipe that off with your fingers.
Right.
Okay. Now, it is 15:57 hours. You ready for magic?
Yeah. Huh, it's dry.
It's dry.
All right.
Touch it all you want.
Huh.
Yeah!
It's cool.
Told you, magic. And what that means, because this is dry, now this is green.
Yeah. It's not fully
Okay,
set.
it's not, okay, there's wet paint where, right?
Yeah.
Then there's green paint. That's what happens between wet and cured. Green paint means it's dry to the touch, but with your thumbnail you can scratch that off.
Right.
Easy.
Right.
It's really soft. So that's referred to as green. If you let this sit for the day, just leave it out here in the sun like this, and that's the reason why it was dry so quick. We just did a metal box out in full sun. But if you let this sit here and bake all day, then it's tough. But right now, if you just kneeled on this and twisted your leg, you'll rip the paint right off.
Right.
So you got to be careful with it. It's delicate. It's kind of a rubbery layer at this point. But what this will let you do is, now I wanted to show you that normally you wouldn't do this where you paint and then go back to grind. So we might screw this up a little bit, but we'll be able to clean this off good enough that paint will stick to it just fine. It may not be as clean a surface as we want, because we want to have these museum quality, which means they're going to be beautiful, like auto body finish.
Right.
So I'm only going to do that one just because I want to teach you how fast it'll dry, because most people don't believe that. They go, oh well, I can't do anything. No, it's dry in 2 minutes.
Okay.
But grind this a little better. Get up in these edges.
Yeah.
That's where you want to focus, and you can roll this all you want. That makes it easy. But grind up into these. Wipe it down till your rag comes off clean.
Okay.
And then then prime it. And when you're ready to prime, start here, because you're going to make a lot of really bad, ugly paint work. Accept that. That's how you get good at it. Is you're going to burn through a lot of that with trips and runs and nasty. But the trick is keep moving, okay, and always go beyond. If you're painting this, you start squeezing here and you let go here, and you're always moving. You want to stay back about that far, okay? Because at this, if you go 4 inches away, you're going to get runs constantly. If you go this far away, you're not going to get any paint out. So it's about here, but it's a light dusting. And the first half of the can's way easier than the second half.
Okay.
All right, start it. Show me what you got.